After finding a new Yellowfoot Chanterelle patch in the previous episode, we are continuing where we left off. Keep watching to see if we can fill our buckets with these perfect mushrooms. Show you how these look in the bucket now. Look at that. Pretty cool. They're whimsical little mushrooms, aren't they? You know, those are just too small. I'm gonna leave those. Well, that's looking good, hey? I'm gonna have to start using the extender here. There's a creek down this hill. This is a really old logging road. And the hillside here goes up to a series of bluffs along the top. And most of what we picked was working the edge of those bluffs and the hillside here. All yellow feet. And then we came down back on the road. There's no yellow feet, but we're seeing yellow chanterelles again. So we're gonna hop back in the truck and we're gonna try to get to the road that I saw that was deeper into the patch, because if we can just cruise over to there, it's right where we left off. We can check the other side of the road and get into that forest. If that doesn't work out, if we can't get on that road, then we're gonna head back to some of the even older forests that we passed through on the way up here. Check those for chanterelles and maybe pine mushrooms. We're just driving down this road, never been on this road before, and there's all these white pine. This makes an amazing tea. One of the ways to ID any pine tree is to look at what's called the fascicle. So on here, you'll see that the needles come in little groups, right? So this is a fascicle where it comes into the branch there, and I count 5 needles coming out of the fascicle. So that narrows down your ID. This one is definitely white pine. Because we're on a logging road that's half overgrown, we know they're going to be taking these trees down and getting rid of them in the next probably 10 years. So we're going to harvest this roadside edge. You know, nobody really drives on these roads, just the odd car, so there's no pollutants or anything. And we'll just snip a few of these overhanging branches. And we've already loaded up a tote. We're gonna load up at least another tote while we're here. When you're harvesting white pine here in British Columbia, especially when you're near the coast, you do need to be conscious of what's called white pine blister rust. It was a real problem in the tree nurseries, but it can also spread in the wild, and it's killed a large percentage of the white pine. So it's basically like a fungal rust that gets into the tree and eventually can kill it. The host plant for that white pine blister rust is the ribes genus, so like gooseberries and currants. So you want to be careful. If you've walked through a clear cut with ribes plants, you could be spreading that fungus from tree to tree. We haven't been through any clear cuts today, and we're just on this roadside edge, so we're just going to focus on that, get one more tote. But something to think about.
Oh, it's a smell, man. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. Totally. It's like really medicinal.
Yeah, it smells amazing.
It does. It smells like a fucking candle. Yeah, no, that's a really good description.
Yeah. Graded out the yellow chanterelles. There's a really big yellowfoot. Look at that guy. But nice, all those, and then of course all those. Nice. I've just followed this old logging road down, and it's cut into the bush. I hear a creek. Cool. I got chanterelle right here. Got a handful of yellow feet in hand. Right on, right away. Oh, the lighting is tough, but I think I see 3 or 4 big shanties across the creek here. Look at that. It's the biggest one today. Ooh.
How far are you from the truck? I'm back at the truck now.
We're gonna run out of daylight here soon. We had kind of a late start today because it's been such a slow season. I'm gonna leave those, they're too old, but these are perfect. This forest is really just loaded with fungi. I mean, they're everywhere. And they're not all the types that we want, but it's always nice to see this many mushrooms in a forest. It's hard not to walk on them. There's so many.
Nasty hill.
the lighting is getting really tricky to see mushrooms. And I think we're better off getting to a more sunny slope or road scouting until it gets dark. If you're trying to ID Yellowfoot chanterelles, winter chanterelles, the three biggest things I would look for: one, the gills join to the stem or the stipe. Two, there's usually an indent in the top like that, little dip right in the center where the stipe joins the cap. And then three, the stem will also often have sort of this sort of club foot, and it has sort of like a sort of flat, squiggly stipe like this. It's quite different than the regular chanterelle, and they're kind of hollow. This clear cut here is closer to the ocean, so it's regenerating really well. All different species through here. And these white cones you see, if you don't already know, this is for the red cedar usually, or sometimes yellow cedar. And that's because the deer will eat them when they're young, and they're very expensive to grow in the silviculture nurseries. So they actually put the labor in to go and put a plastic cone on all of them, and then at a certain age they'll come and remove all those cones. And at that point the trees will survive the deer chewing on them. So I just got a pretty good amount actually. I'm up to here, so yeah, fill up this guy here. Got less in it. Yeah, I got that guy too. A couple of yellows. If it was a better season, I'd be bringing 2 buckets, and the main harvest would go in one, and then all those other mushrooms would go in a second one, but there just isn't the volume out there to warrant that. Pretty happy with these though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
A bit more road scouting, maybe check one more spot before it gets too dark here, and then probably call it a day after that. Almost missed these. We were just driving out and I spotted a little cluster of white. We reversed. Big pine mushroom flags. I was hoping all day we'd find some pines. Now they're a bit mature, but they're number 5s, but we're going to be drying them, and that's absolutely fine as long as there's no rot or issues.
Hey.
Most people only get excited for buttons. There's a button. Yeah, I see the veil. But because we're drying, we want any pines we can get right now. Nice. We'll clean these when we get home properly. But try to add some debris back over those picking holes. This is a nice end to our day, getting a few pines in there. What the heck? Well, now I'm finding yellowfeet again. Look at these amanitas just glowing. Could it be? Looks like Rusula's. Now that was a big mushroom. It's from over there, like here's my hand. That's 10 inches, 12 inches across. Rusula. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, then consider liking and subscribing, or check out our online store on Shopify. Thanks for watching.